no, I can't sell you this, or no, I can't protect you here, or I can't rent to you because, or I can't take the listing because you are who you are. Okay, just base it on dollars and not on.
You're a cannibal, I can't rent you.
Yeah. Make false statements concerning the availability of racing units, of housing units for rent or sale. So, oh, this is the last one. Car dealers used to do that. They advertise a certain car at a certain price, and when you get there, well, that's been sold. We have others. Others more expensive.
Right.
That's bait and switch, right? Well, this is close to bait and switch, right?
That's no longer like something that they make you review, the bait and switch and the, what's it called, phishing. Any of those terms.
For mortgage, they still do.
Yeah. Get out of my brain.
The Fair Housing poster pledges adherence to the Fair Housing Act. Is displayed at real estate brokerage office, mortgage lending office. It's available free from HUD. You don't have to write the HUD, just get on their website and print it. Failure to display the poster may be used as evidence of discrimination in a complaint. And that was added, that language was added only in the last couple of years. That language was not there before. But they're so serious about that that they want they want to make a point of it. ADA. Did I talk about the ADA before?
Yes, you did.
Did I mention ADA? ADA. The Americans with Disabilities Act, which was signed into law in 1990. And here's what it says. I'm just going to read the first couple of lines. It says, the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA of 1990, is a federal statute designed to remove barriers that prevent qualified individuals with disabilities from enjoying the same opportunities that are available to persons without disabilities. The Act prohibits discrimination in places of public accommodation and in commercial facilities. Public accommodations are facilities that are open to the public, including sales and rental establishments. Is this one of them?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Hotels and shopping centers, ADA requirements also apply to private entities that own, lease, or operate commercial facilities, including real estate brokers' offices, even if the broker's office is located in a private residence. Buyers who purchase older homes with plans to turn the structures into offices may face costly, unanticipated expenses to modify or upgrade the facility to ADA standards. Now let me tell you some of the things that ADA did. Not only did it involve structures, but it also involved employers. And how it governed employees, and I think the break line was 15 employees or less, or 15 employees or more, is that, let's just say that you had an office that was multi-story, or this one, 2 stories high. And on the second floor there was only the party room or the conference room or whatever. If you hired anybody with disabilities, especially those on a wheelchair, and I say wheelchair only because they require the most room, you couldn't hire anybody, and you discriminate if you don't hire if they're qualified. But let's say that you did hire somebody on a wheelchair, they're fully qualified to do the job they're doing, and you have a second floor unit, that's where you have the parties or your lunchroom or whatever. They can't go up there because you didn't have an elevator. And that person is required to have the same access as everybody else. So what is your only choice?
Either move or build an elevator.
Or close that room for everyone. You know?
They have to have an elevator, or could you use a ramp?
Yeah, try. Okay. Do you know?
Restructuring the
Yeah. Do you
inside
know
of
what
the
the slamping rope is? Slope is 1 in 12. So if it's 12 feet long, I mean, if it's 12 feet high, it requires 12 feet of ramp. If it's this is probably about 14 feet, so you need a 14-foot ramp in order to get from the parking lot to here.
So you'd have to wrap it around the building.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. The other thing is that it also required not only the access to the front door, but for instance, let me give you some examples. This door doesn't look to me, I may be wrong, but doesn't look to me like it's 3 feet wide. So the door here actually is 1 5/8 inches. So this 2 inches that you lose in here because the door is here actually takes away from the clear width. And the clear width has to be at least 32 inches in order for a wheelchair to be able to wheel in. The other thing is, how about somebody that's got no fingers, okay? Part of their handicap. So this is not allowed. It has to
Push
be
bars
a
above.
lever so that they can grab onto. So that's just doors, okay? When it came, I talked to you about the bathroom. The bathroom needed to be large enough so that the wheelchair can go in and turn around inside. And grab bars, which this bathroom doesn't have. In addition to that, you have to have, if you only have one water fountain, it has to be so that the chair fits underneath the water fountain, and they be able to reach the water without getting up, and obviously they can't. Underneath your sink, if you had hot water, you know, hot water pipe gets hot because, well, they don't have any feeling in their legs. So you have to insulate all the piping underneath so that when they go under the sink, they don't know that they're getting burned, that their skin is burning. So that's just for access. If it was visually impaired, you'd have to have Braille on every single sign along the way. Your exit signs, everything has to be at a level that they can reach. Okay, so the things that we're used to, and this is the normal things that we're used to, in this, I can tell you that in this suite, nothing applies to ADA. There's not a thing that applies in here in ADA. And the law, what it said is that, okay, buildings that were built in accordance with the law when they were built were fine, except to the point that when it prohibited and somebody complained, then they'd have to do something about it. Now, ADA, on the line 35, it said ADA governs employment practices regarding discrimination in hiring and reasonable accommodations in the workplace. ADA also mandates accessibility standards in public accommodations through design-specific specifications such as the width of doorways, the height of the light switches, grab bars in the bathroom, and so forth. If the broker's office is in a private residence, the accessibility standards apply to that portion of the home that is used exclusive as an office and to the portions of the house that are available to the customers, including bathrooms. So if you open the real estate office in your own home, then those places, those parts of accessibility, also you have to comply with as a real estate office. Another federal law that we get into is federal law regulates the sale of lease or land when it's in large groups. The Interstate Land Sales Full Disclosure Act. You've all heard of the big areas in Florida that sold land to everywhere else in the country. Arvida did it. What areas? That were sold, that were just land sellers in here in Florida. Never heard of areas that were just land sellers. GDC sold a number of parcels in the state of Florida. For instance, ever heard of the Port St. Lucie? That was developed by General Development Corporation. Vero Beach was developed by General Development Corporation. Port Malabar, right next to Melbourne. Northport in the other side of the state. All of those areas were sold in lumps by that developer to buyers all over the country. And so what this law came into effect says federal law that regulates the sale or lease of land. The law is intended to prevent fraudulent marketing schemes through the mail or through other means of interstate that may occur when the land is sold without being seen by out-of-state buyers. And all of those companies sold land all over the country. I mean, sold land in Florida, but all over the country without them coming down here. The Interstate Land Sales Full Disclosure Act is administered by the Secretary of the Department of Housing and Urban Development through its Office of the Interstate Land Sales Registration. And what it amounted to is developers of 25 or more lots must provide each purchaser with a disclosure document referred to as a property report. The property report contains relevant information about the real estate and must be delivered to each purchaser before signing the contract. Purchasers who receive property report prior to signing the contract may cancel the contract within 7 days. And also that registration requirements, land developers must register subdivisions of 100 acres or 100 or more lots by filing a statement of record with HUD. What information did it include? Who provided the police? Who provided the fire? Who provided the television or the cable or the Florida Power Light or the telephone service? It actually told them a little bit more about the land and about where it was located and what services were allowed. It also provided for the names of each of the owners of the developer, in case you needed to, not only the company name, but you also needed the major stockholders or the board of directors. It's administered by HUD. Developers must register developments with HUD and disclose to prospects facts regarding the real estate. Two components of the Interstate Land Sales Act is the anti-fraud provision, which is developers of 25 or more lots must provide purchaser with a property report. They may cancel within 7 days, and buyers who did not receive the report prior to signing the contract may cancel even within 2 years. And the reason why it's 2 years, you figure, well, if they sold the land, what's that got to do with anything 2 years from now? Well, they all sold the land on a land contract basis. In other words, $200 now and $200 a month for the next 10 years. So that's why I gave them up to 2 years. If they didn't receive that report, that they could cancel the contract. The registration requirement: developers must register subdivisions of 100 or more lots with HUD. Another law is the Coastal Zone Management Act. The Coastal Zone Management Act is administered by the EPA, the Environmental Protecting Agency or Protection Agency. It encourages states to care for the wetlands, floodplains, estuaries, beaches, dunes, barrier islands, and coral reefs found within its jurisdiction. States and Native American tribes affected include areas bordering the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic Oceans, the Gulf of Mexico, Long Island Sound, and the Great Lakes. And where most laws typically impose mandatory duties and responsibilities, the CZMA makes federal financial assistance available to any coastal state or territory that is willing to assume the responsibility to develop and implement the comprehensive coastal management. So it's administered by the EPA. It's voluntary. Federally funding is available for participation. Pollutants carried into rivers, lakes, coastal waters, and groundwaters by water runoff. Anybody know what water runoff is? You're shaking your head. Yes. What is it? What's water runoff?
Runs off from the yard
Well-
that may be carrying chemicals and